Hello guys and welcome back to a brand new video on Lex Alexas. Today we are only going to be predicting the one game, but it's the biggest game in most of our lifetimes. It is England playing in a final despite playing the way that they've been playing, and they're playing against probably the informed team Spain. I mean, are we going to experience Spain without the yes later on? Potentially, but in a one-game scenario, anything can happen, and I still have all my hopes. So today I'm going to be breaking down each team's chances. I will give my predictions, and ultimately this will be the last Euro video that I will make as well. Did you guys enjoy the Euros and the content that I made? Let me know in the comments down below, and please do show by liking the video if you potentially want to see other things related to Championship on this channel. That would be very interesting for me to know. Thank you guys as always for the terrific support. So without any further ado, I don't want to waste any more time. Let's predict this final. So Spain and England, they could not be going into that final in contrasting forms. So Spain have done the ability of winning every game but one over a 90-minute game. The only game they didn't win in 90 minutes was Germany. They needed an extra 19 minutes to be precise to eventually get their moment. So with Spain, they are most certainly the favourites because they just get the job done. And because of that, I think they've certainly have played less football than what England have had to be involved with for them just to get to that stage. With England, of course, they've had to play 2 of their knockout games going into extra time, of course. So England have played a little bit more football, but what Spain have had is that they've had a much tougher run-in to get to this stage. And naturally, that could allow some players to get a little bit fatigued going into this final game. They've had the displeasure of playing Germany and France back-to-back. And then with a game against England, this is going to be a very interesting proposition for Spain, because this will be another scenario where I think Spain will have a lot of the ball, but England has shown that without the ball, England can actually attack relatively well and cause quite a few problems. Both of these teams' major issues is the goal scoring. And in general, there's not really been a team that has really been dominating with the flow of goals going in, maybe with the exception of Germany, especially what they showed against Scotland in their first game of the tournament. You know, every other side I feel like has struggled to really find their natural flow in most matches. You would argue Spain had it when they scored 4 past Georgia. With England, they have not scored more than 2 goals in any of their matches. In fact, the 2 goals they scored against the Netherlands was the only time in the tournament where England scored 2 goals in 90 minutes. The only other time they scored 2 goals was against Slovakia, where both goals came post 90 minutes. So I do think, again, Spain have the advantage of looking like that they can score more goals. But even with the issue with Spain, they could have even scored more. And I do think their striker is their most problematic position, but they counter that by having some brilliant midfielders who do create moments and some incredibly talented wingers in Nico Williams and Lamine Yamal. So I do think Spain have in their core a very strong side. I don't know if Carvajal can play still. I'm not too sure about the red card rules, but if he served the suspension he was supposed to face by getting red card against Germany, he will be back available. And it will mean that Spain as a whole will have their strongest 11 with the exception of Pedri, of course, when he picked up that injury against Germany, that sent him out of the entire tournament. So Spain will be going really strong. England, I don't believe, have any major injuries that they have revealed within the camp. Of course, the players serving their suspension already served their suspension for missing the quarterfinal match against Switzerland. So I shouldn't expect to see other players being unavailable in this final. So England can operate a full squad. Whether Gareth Southgate is going to tweak their squad and make it the strongest squad possible, I don't think he will. I think Southgate has convinced himself that that squad that he starts with is the squad he needs to go for. And I do think it posed a couple of problems within managing the game. I thought actually in the first half against Netherlands, it was the best that this crop of players looked. But in the second half, I think they really struggled. And what was needed was some new fresh blood in that England squad to get them something. And that is what we saw. Cole Palmer assisting Ollie Watkins' winning goal to send England through to the final. So if Southgate were to be brave, he would tweak the squad a bit. And I think Ollie Watkins, based on the impact he's had in the very small time he was on the pitch against Netherlands, I think should start. But personally, I don't think he will. I think Southgate is going to go unchanged in this final. And it will likely look like Spain holding most of the ball. England will have to defend in numbers like they normally do. And they'll have to try and find a moment, which I do think they can do against Spain. I don't think that back line for Spain is as strong as it's made out to be. They do play with a very high line, which England can exploit. I can already think of Saka having some really good joy, actually, if he can time his runs perfectly and avoid the offside trap. The only problem I'm already foreshadowing is if Kane's going to be a bit too towards the central defence, I could see Saka getting into a very frustrating position where he wants to cross the ball for others in the box, but there's not enough white shirts there. So what I do hope is that if England do sit on and counter-attack Spain, there needs to be enough runners and enough options to whoever's delivering the ball into the box. So that'll be my only concern going into this. But certainly going into this game, I think Spain are the very strong favourites. England will be underdogs. But England know they need to end 58 years of hurt. They've got to win a trophy at my lifetime, surely at some point. They've gone really close 2 years ago, getting to the Euros final against Italy, which it ended up as penalties in the end. They will hopefully, that squad, which a lot of them have experienced that final, will have learned and have gained so much experience from that game that they can approach this game very cautiously but very effectively against this Spain. Whereas with this Spain side, a lot of these players have never been in a major tournament, let alone in a major final before. So what the doubts that I tend to have with these young squads is whether they will be a bit reckless and they'll get swallowed up within the occasion. But what the Spain squad has done, it has been able to actually play with a lot of freedom, and it has actually, I've been able to forget that they are actually a side with very little tournament experience. And I do think that's balanced well with some of the experienced players, more or less more in a defensive position, that kind of nurtures it out. England do have that as well with the young crop of players as well, with Saka having his second tournament, Bellingham having his first international tournament there, Mark Guéhi playing in his very first one as well, Konsa playing in his first one, Watkins playing in his first one. So again, I think both of these squads have got a crop of really good upcoming players who will play in so many tournaments to come, but they've also got a good amount of experience there. It's just a question to see which one is going to take their chances and who will deliver. Now, what I'm hoping is that it's going to be very close for the whole game, and it's going to be decided on individual quality and eventual, working through a team's defense. What I don't want it to be is that it's decided on a referee decision, like a penalty or a red card offence and stuff like that. I felt like it kind of was a bit like that for England against Netherlands. I don't think the Harry Kane penalty was a penalty. I think we can kind of unanimously agree on that. But it is one of those things where I really want England to earn it. And I think they will say they don't care how they win. They just want to win. Fair enough. But I just don't want them to play on my heartstrings, really. I remember streaming England and Italy 2 years ago, and it was definitely one of the saddest days that I can remember in recent history. I was not sober during the stream, and I was really struggling mentally. And watching that game, I really wanted to have a big lift from it, and it didn't deliver. And it's one of the major downsides with football. You get so many hopes, and then it just kind of shoots you to pieces. So I don't want this game to kind of have that sort of deja vu effect, if you will. So I've got hopes, maybe very, very few hopes based on how England played, but we have seen miracles happen before. Now let's predict. So what do I think will happen in this game? The amount of possibilities we could see is insane. So I think Spain will have a lot of the ball. I would even go as far to say I think they could have it up to 70% possession, Spain. But I think we'll get a scenario where Spain may score first, but I think England will equalise. I think it's going to end 1-1 after 90 minutes. I'm going to say it's going to end 1-1 after 120 minutes. Then it'll be pens. So this will really be deja vu for England, because penalties was what decided Italy winning the Euros over England 2 years ago. I really, really do want this England side just to right the wrongs that they did in their last Euro campaign. I think I just can't predict an England win. I'm going to go 4-3 Spain on pens, which probably because it's the pessimist in me. But what I'm hoping for, because I've been so wrong about predicting England in this entire tournament, that will kind of give the reverse psychology for that to be flipped and for it to be an England win on pens. And honestly, I'm so excited yet so nervous for today. You know, it could really be a defining moment of our history. You know, history books could literally write this day, 14th of July 2024, being the day where England have finally won a trophy since 1966. So big moment today. Everyone get excited. If you need to hide behind the sofa and do this like what I'll be doing, you know, go ahead. But we've got to brave it. You know, like a band-aid, we've got to rip it off, and we've got to really, really try and approach this with much positivity and just fearlessness as possible. So I'm going to go for a Spain win on pens, even though I do think England have got a chance, actually. So I don't want to sound deluded with it, because ultimately with quality and football-wise, Spain are so much better than England. But with it being a one-off game, you just never know what will happen. Let me know what you think in the comments down below. So that is my prediction. I am really, really excited, yet so nervous about it. This Euros, you know, tournament has flown by so quickly, and within 4 weeks, the championship season starts again. So I've got to probably start getting that ready. Now I've got intense studying at the moment, so it's going to be quite difficult for me to balance that, but I'm sure I'll be able to find a way around it. If you guys are excited to see the return of more consistent content with Let's Alexas, please do let me know in the comments down below, and please smash the like button. It really does help growth of this channel. And if you can share the video as well, that'll be absolutely amazing as well. So that wraps it up. Thank you guys so much for watching. You guys are legendary. This is the end of this video, and as always, I'll see you guys soon. Take care, everyone.